Hi, this is DJ Dino from Jinxter Games, and this is a sample project for this help topic. And I'll just start the game so you can see what's going on. So I have an item created and it's rotating. And when I click my button, I do an up force. And when it lands too far from the rotation position from the previous object, it's game over. Okay, so I have three FSMs for this. So one FSM is for the force, and then I have a game manager, and I have a FSM on my falling object. I'll show you first the force. So I have get mouse button down to so when it's pressed, it's gonna go here, and it's gonna add a force from 50 in a Y position, and it's gonna do that every frame. And until I release my buttons. That's why I use the get mouse button up. And if it's longer than 0.3 seconds, it's also going to go back to the listener. Then I have two global events on it, or how you call it, transitions. One enable force up and one disable force up. And in here is just nothing. So if it's disabled, I can do nothing. Then I'll show you first the prefab. I have two box colliders for it. One of it is a trigger, this one, and this is a collider. The the collider is just on the exactly around the box, and the trigger is a little bit bigger than the box itself, so it's gonna trigger before it hits the next block. And you can adjust this because if you're gonna use higher speeds, it's gonna fall like inside the block, and that's not nice to see. Then I'll show you the FSM. So what do I have on it? I have a trigger event. So when this hits on the trigger here, uh, it's gonna send a hit event, and it's gonna go here. And I also have here rotate on it, so my box here is gonna rotate in this rotating speed, which I made a global for, so I can adjust it also. Then when it hits the box, it's gonna send an event to this FSM to disable the force. If I don't have this, the moment it hits, I can still click and it's still gonna jump up again, so we don't want that. And after it, it's gonna get also the rotation. So the rotation position actually from the object, so it's gonna get whatever position this item is, and that's gonna be between 0 and 360 degrees. When you move this manually, you can go higher than 360, but while in game, it's gonna go back to 0 after 360 degrees. Then after he checked the rotation, it's gonna do a float compare to that rotation position, and if it's less than 25 degrees, it's gonna be good, so it's just gonna finish. And when it's less than 335, it's gonna be no good. So everything between 25 and 335 degrees now is gonna be no good. And so everything between 0 and 25 and between 335 and 360 degrees gonna be good. And of course you can adjust this however you want it for your game. When it's no good, it's gonna set the bool value from this. It's also a global that I made. It's gonna be set to true when it's good, and when it's no good, it's gonna be set to false. After that, it's gonna set another bool to item landed to true. So I can check in my game manager to check if it has landed. And also in here, so I'm gonna start here from the beginning. I have a wait, because if I don't have the wait on the start, this can be, oh, give me a second, I'll take first away that object here, and it's gonna create the object and it's gonna be jumpy. But if I have the 2 seconds to load things up, then it's gonna be more smooth. So that's the reason I have the wait. Then I'm gonna start by creating an object on position 0, 8, 0, and I'm gonna store the object in current falling object, so I can also reference that for other things. Then I have a set bool volume for the item landed, and I set it to false, as it's still in the air, so it didn't land yet. Then after that, I go to this state and I'm gonna send an event to my force FSM that I'm allowed to add force. And here you can see also it's gonna add force on the current falling object, so on the object that was created. And the moment it lands and the landed bool has been set to true, it's gonna go to this bool, to this state, and it's gonna check out this bool if the landing was good or not good. So if it was true, the landing was good. If it's false, the landing is bad. When it's bad, it's game over, and it's just gonna set the change color here to red. And if it's good, it's gonna set the rotation to the same angle as the first object here now. So well, this one is already there, so it's 0. If you don't want it to be 0, if you want the first object just fall in a certain rotation position, you can get that position and place that here. So it's going to be all still stacked in the same rotation as the first one. That depends on your project. Then I have a float add to my camera position. So I have my camera position Y here and object position Y here, and I start with my camera on position 3 and my object on 8. That is the starting position to fall. And so after each loop, I'm gonna add 1 to my camera position, in the Y position going up, and also I'm gonna add 1 to my object position to create and drop, as my objects are also size 1, so it's always going to be on the same height that your camera starts, and you can see everything endlessly. So after I added the floats, I'm gonna set the vectors. So I have the vector 3 xyz for my object position here, and so I set it to 0 on the x, 0 on the z, and then on the y, and then also on my camera I set the position so 0x minus 10 on z, because my camera started on minus 10 for the distance, and x0, and then the y is the y height. Then I use move towards to move my camera up more smoothly than just positioning the camera. And you have to put a finish distance at least of 0.1, so else it's not going to be done if you put it on 0. Then I use a float add on the rotating speed, so every time an object has been placed, the rotating speed is going to go faster and faster. And when that has been done, I'm creating another object on the new position. So it started by 8, so the next gonna be on 9, and then on 10, 11, 12, and so on. And I'm gonna set the bool value from item landed to false, because it's in the air, so it didn't land yet. And then I'm going back to this state to check again if my item is landed. And I think that was about everything. So I'll play it one more time. And that seems to be working fine. At the moment it's the force, I can force it so far up, so you can still make a clamp on it or something, so that will not be possible. And let me see if it's in the right way. Oh, I'm lucky. And I'll show you if it's in the wrong way. It's gonna be false, and game over. I hope this helped you out, and I hope this is about what you mean to do. And good luck with your game. Thanks for watching. Bye.